Welcome to the Opinionated Aussies.
Adrian's a wanker.
Oh God! Welcome to the Opinionated Aussies. I'm Adrian, joined by Dickhead over here,
Hey guys, good morning.
and we have Aden with us finally after a 4-week break for him. How you going, boss?
Yeah, good mate, good. How are you?
Yeah, living the dream as always, mate. I think we all are.
He secretly wants to kill himself.
Why? It is too fucking early in the morning for your drama. Anyway, today we're talking about the growth of AI, artificial intelligence. Pretty simple one. Not much to really go on. I mean, I don't even know how far back we want to go with this one. But if anyone wants to start us off, just sing out. Otherwise, let's get this on the way. Right, on the way. Fucking hell.
Jesus Christ. Hey Aiden, are you for or against AI?
I am absolutely for AI.
Oh.
Adrian?
100% same.
For AI.
4.
Okay. Well, I guess you guys are Team Zuckerberg and I'm Team fucking Elon Musk. Because I'm against AI. I think AI can go get fucked.
That's fair enough, though. So, I guess with that, I think Jordan should lead off. Why are you against AI and its development?
Not so much, I guess, how can I put it? Robotic dolls and all that sort of shit, like in Japan when they do like the it's like SEMA, but in Japan they do that big technology fucking thing, and all your AI bots come out and you can actually have a conversation with a robot and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
I'm not so much against that. It's more AI in cars. The self-driving cars and the amount of issues that everyone has had with self-driving cars. That's one point for me that I hate AI. But I don't ever see it being what we want it to be or what we picture it in the future.
See, I can understand where you're coming from, because let's be real, what they've shown in like all these sci-fi movies and all these predictions of it, there's no way we'll ever get it like that, because that's, even if as we continue to advance our own technology, we're never going to be able to replicate what we dream of in all these scenarios. But that's not to say, with the self-driving car thing, how many of them have there been over the last decade?
Self-driving cars or accidents?
Self-driving cars. The accidents, yeah, you can do that all you want, but stick with the self-driving cars. How many have been made, do you believe?
I think there's actually been successfully only been a handful made.
Yes. So you got to remember, with things like this, we're progressing slowly with all our technology. We keep bringing up technologies in this podcast a lot. We don't get to where we are now without trial and error.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the same with these self-driving cars. And yes, that has led to accidents. It's not good, I can say that. But you can't, it's pretty much with anything. Trial and error. You can apply that to anything. That's the same with this. I'm not saying you're wrong, because you're right. You're 100% right. But you've got to remember, we've still got a ways to go with learning how to develop AI. There's no way we're going to get it.
And you look at stuff like, the metaverse, for instance. Like
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still don't understand
you think of, or VR headsets. That's still relatively AI. That's artificial intelligence. It's putting you in a scenario that you would never have thought to be in.
Yeah.
What's the point in fucking trying to be in an artificial world or metaverse, whatever the fuck you want to call it, where you can watch the fucking sunrise and sunset out your fucking window?
So, I have a feeling I know where you're going with that. You're going to refer to the civilization in Wall-E, aren't you? Because that's what came to my head.
Well, no, I haven't seen Wall-E, but...
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Okay, so in Wall-E, what you just said kind of sounds like what it could be, which is we basically live in a simulation. We basically just sit in our...
That's an actual conspiracy theory.
No, in this movie, the humanity itself has gotten extremely fat. They live in these little floating around hovercraft chairs, and they basically live in their computer, which is just on their heads, basically. The first human to ever take one off is actually the first human to ever set their spaceship to manual driving instead of autopilot, which is what it had been in for decades. And that's how they returned to Earth in that movie, because they actually took control of themselves, whereas the AI in that film that controlled the ship was keeping them captive in their own simulations. I feel like that's what you were referencing, which kind of feels like that, in a way, since you haven't even seen the movie, that's kind of what you alluded to without knowing it.
Oh, well, there you go. But yeah, it's not that, technology is scary sort of thing, because I embrace new technology. I like things that will help me out, Look at dishwashers, for instance, or robotic vacuum cleaners.
Wait. You're going to go with household appliances first.
Yeah.
Good move.
Who the fuck... I think I can speak for all three of us. We all hate doing the dishes.
Aden?
That's why you cook and the other one cleans.
That's the sound of a married...
I don't have a fucking wife.
I was about to say, that sounds like a married man talking right there.
But, even a robotic fucking vacuum cleaner that vacuums and mops now.
Oh, they mop now too?
Yeah, they fucking mop now.
That shows how much I fucking care.
They cost a lot, but, shit like that.
Yeah.
But, you go to Japan and you look at the technologies that they have, and you're like, stuff that will help the human race out, do chores, I guess, that we don't want to do, that will, give us more time in the day to not worry about other things.
Yeah.
I like that sort of artificial intelligence where it'll, a little fucking robotic vacuum cleaner will map out your home and then, once a day just go sweep it. You don't even have to tell it what to do. But having a robotic sex doll, for instance...
I knew you were going to bring that one up.
Just to me is so...
devoid of human interaction.
Yeah.
And it gives you an excuse to not interact with humans.
Look, it's probably not the best opinion to have, but what sort of loveless, geeky loser do you have to be? Sorry if that offends anyone.
No,
I don't give a fuck. What sort of person do you have to be to buy a fucking robotic sex doll? If you want companionship, there are more than enough ways to find a companion. And even then, if you are that hard to tolerate, why the fuck would you need a robotic doll as a companion?
I give you that. I don't think that's what we're thinking of, though. I wasn't thinking of a robotic sex doll. I knew you would bring that up. I just had this feeling you would. But
they are out there. That's the thing.
I know.
They cost thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I know. They cost more than my car. Some of them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean the high-end ones. Not that I know. I haven't researched
with the self-cleaning and self-lubricating pussy.
Yeah, those ones are fucking amazing, eh? How the fuck did you develop that? But...
must have been a man that developed it.
A man that knows what he wants.
I'm surprised. I wonder if they put a clit in there, because no man can find one.
If he did, it's probably not in the right spot.
Belly button or something.
I guess we'll segue this to Aden. What's your counter to all this, Aden?
Well, what I see is Jordan he's not against AI. As he said at the start, he said he was against it. I don't believe you're against it. I think you're against certain aspects of AI. I think, I tend to agree with you on the self-driving cars. And to answer the question, I've Googled it just so you know. There are over 1,400 self-driving cars in the US, which realistically isn't that much.
It's got a good point. I mean, think of the amount of people that own a car in the US.
Yeah, well, that's right. It's a very small percentage.
It's a very small percentage that have a self-driving car. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I think, like, I'm not for all AI. I think AI can be good in certain aspects, and I am for AI, but I think there's places in the world where we don't, well, not places, but there's things or aspects in the world that don't need AI or can, we don't need to put in AI to these certain things. I think personally, I understand the whole thing about AI taking people's jobs and doing this and that, but I don't mind AI in like warehousing and stuff like that. Depending on the job and what it'll be doing, I don't mind it, but cars, I'm kind of siding with Jordan on there. I'm not a big fan of self-driving cars and stuff like that either. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I think there's a place in certain aspects where we need AI, and there's places that we don't, and that's where I'm at with it.
Actually, now I'm glad you brought up the warehousing. Have you seen that episode of South Park where Amazon goes into South Park, the fulfillment center, and they have them little robots, just like a lot of warehouses, bigger warehouses like Amazon and stuff. They have, and I think it was like Volvo does. Not, I don't think they have it here in Australia, but over in like Sweden or whatever where they're built, they have all these little robots and stuff that carry parts from place to place or station to station for like trucks to build things, and they follow this little yellow fucking line and shit like that. And I think watching people's reaction to the Amazon fulfillment center in South Park, that episode, they were saying, if an accident is caused by one of them robots and injures a person, Amazon will always blame the person because you can't blame the robot because the robot's faultless or something.
That's not true. The
Yeah, I
robots.
Well, yeah, that's right, but that's how,
That's what
I guess, they're saying. But to bring it closer to home, I think they've just started, I can't remember the company, whether it's Anglo American or BHP.
I think it is Anglo, because it's ringing a bell with this topic.
They've just bought in, I think it's a Cat 793 or 797 dump truck, which is fully autonomous. They're starting to bring a fleet of them into the country. So, they're driven the same way, I guess, a drone is done.
They're piloted from a distance.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I can, to a degree, sort of, understand that, it might take a death out of the industry, but it also, if someone's not careful, and, you let that truck go fully autonomous without even, playing around with it or whatever, if you just set a white line in the program to go from A to B, and that truck veers off that white line and crashes into one that is driving by a person,
that person's still dead.
Oh yeah, 100% they're dead, and they're going to blame the person.
Yeah, even though it was not that person's fault.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where it sort of, I guess, shits me to tears in a sense that everyone starts to blame all the human error when that's not necessarily the case.
See,
or in the fact of Tesla, because Tesla is such a big brand and it's such a big name, as soon as something goes wrong with a Tesla,
it's not the Tesla's fault. It's the human behind it.
Well, no, it depends, because there was actually an accident in Melbourne last week or the week before where a Tesla was in autopilot and veered off the side of the road, crashed into a tree. And I just thought, yeah, you're in in Melbourne in a CBD or whatever. Why the fuck are you using autopilot? Well, for one, but when it comes to, I guess, Elon Musk and Tesla, because he's such, I guess, leaps and bounds ahead with that sort of technology, he's always come under fire.
Yeah. He always will too.
And I don't understand why. With some AI aspects, it's good to, have the little shit that, to me sort of seems comical. But when you have it in real world scenarios, I don't think there's enough R&D that has been done for a fully autonomous vehicle to be driving on our roads. Whether it's autopilot or not.
It's a fucking scary thought when you think about it, though. It really is. So, with the whole... I said it before, though. With these self-driving cars, this is still a relatively new thing to our species as a whole. It's a very... you can't deny, even though that it's very faulty, and yes, it is the technology's fault, because the technology is not perfect. But like I said, that's the trial and error part of it. I'm in the same boat as you guys. I would never be able to buy or deal with a self-driving car. One, because I'll never be able to afford it. And two, because I prefer to drive myself. And I'm not going to leave my life in the hands of some computer. I'm not doing that. But, like I said, trial and error. We're not going to perfect it if we don't trial and error it. I think what they should have done is they should have spent more time developing it so that it can detect, or it can use the Google Maps to detect that it's in a very busy area, so self-driving isn't even an option and you can't turn it on. It should be on stuff like highways, because they have white lines.
Yeah, highways, motorways.
Yeah, but as soon as you enter residential or CBD or anything, that thing stops. It warns you it's going to turn off, gives you time to take back control, and then you can't turn it on again until you're off, out on the motorway. And even the motorway, like the M1, imagine a self-driving car on the M1 doing all that shit, swerving off and all that. That's just a pile-up waiting to happen.
No, it wouldn't. It would stay in the one lane, and that's it.
Yeah, but
it would stay unless it wouldn't weave in and out of traffic. But if you got stuck behind a truck or something, you would be stuck behind that truck unless you physically
took
went
over
around.
again. Which leads me to an example of modern cars, not the self-driving ones, but there is another aspect to it where. Like my folks' car, they're I forgot, cruise control. They're cruise control. When the car detects there's another car in front of it, when it's in cruise control,
it's adaptive.
It adapts itself to slow down and match the speed.
It's called adaptive
cruise control.
That's right.
Which
so
blew my mind.
Just about every sort of, not base car like the bottom of your own car, but just about anything mid-range or high-end. Will have adaptive cruise control, autonomous braking, emergency brake assist, lane keeping assistance. You fucking name it, and it does everything bar give you a fucking blowjob when you drive.
Which would be amazing, but we're not going to get into that.
But with that sort of shit being said, like when I worked for the company when I was in Brisbane, they had the brand new Mercedes vans. And I would just be driving as I normally would, just fucking whatever. And the fog line, the solid white line on your left-hand side, is called the fog line. As soon as you went near that fog line, the vehicle jumped on the brakes and turned away from the fog line. Bear in mind, I'm in a van with, say half a ton of product on the back. And it wants to do that sort of shit. That's what causes fucking accidents.
That is, yes.
And unless you know how to turn it off, which I don't know. Unless you know how to turn it off, every time you get in the car, because every time you turn the car off and then turn the car back on, it comes on automatically. So, shit like that, in my mind, will cause more accidents than it will prevent.
That's true.
Because shit like that you're unaware of, and you could just be moseying Miss Daisy, hit the fog line and the fucking car sends you into a spin. Just imagine if the cup was raining. I would have had to fucking try and do my best to try and control a fucking van in the rain. Just shit like that, where I've sort of looked at that sort of shit and I'm just like, man, why the fuck do we need all this shit?
Not related, but we'll move on to something that crossed my mind about AI. We all know our service providers of any type. So we know internet, we got phone, we got all this stuff. You go to their website and you're trying to get help. The first thing that gets your attention, that wants to help you, is the website or the company's little AI thing they've got on their website that will ask you what the problem is, what it's related to, and it basically asks you all the questions that a person would ask you, and then it takes the information and it directs you to someone that can help you, or it tries to provide you with an answer itself. There's something that's pretty much that's been developing in the last 15 years, slowly. What do we think of that? This thing basically doing a help center's job. Start with Aden.
Well, look, personally, I think it's brilliant. I think it's good because, for one, obviously humans, unless you're obviously swapping over it at the end of the shift, but humans cannot realistically work 24 hours a day. So I just think it's good to have that sort of backup in call centers and stuff like that, because eventually most people will probably have to get put onto a real person, but sometimes your issues can just get resolved by these, I don't know I think they're called chatbots or something like that.
That's the one, thank you. I was trying to remember the name of it before. Keep going, sorry.
No, that was pretty much...
That was pretty much it for you.
You go.
That's just your anxiety talking. She hate talking to people on the phone.
I do hate talking to people. Cannot stand it, but yes. But that's what I mean. But honestly, you think about it, that does help people that do have anxiety and that don't like talking to people. That does help them, though. And look, at the end of the day, people, probably should try and get out of that habit. But I mean, if people are really bad, mine's not that bad. I can talk to people on the phone. I don't like it. But there are some people worse that really can't do it. They have panic attacks. They just don't want to talk to people. And this is a good way of sort of meeting in the middle there, I think. I think it's a good idea for some aspects. Yes, look, it does take away people's jobs, but I don't know. You guys talk about it now.
I don't think it would take anyone, maybe one or two people's jobs. It wouldn't. I don't see it taking a call center's job or half a call center's job.
I believe it would help to put the right person on to be able to solve your issue.
Well, like Aden said, you got some people who just don't like talking on the phone, or anxiety, all that sort of shit, right? But it also, if you're like that sort of person and don't like talking on the phone, but you can describe it in a text to the fucking chatbot and it understands what you're trying to say, that's great. But 9 times out of 10 it doesn't work like that.
No.
So you're still going to have to try and say what you want to say on the phone.
Yeah.
I do get what you're saying, and I do agree, but that technology is getting better. It's from where we were probably a few years back, where you'd type in, not all that descriptive of what you needed, and they couldn't really answer or direct you from it. These days it is starting to improve. So I think eventually we will get to a stage where we're going to be able to just talk to a bot eventually. But I get what you're saying now. It is, there's still that confusion as to how they can help you.
Yeah. What about, sort of going off topic, but I'm going to reel it back in. app-to-app integration. Bixby or Siri into the Google Voice Assistant.
Yep.
Now, you guys have probably seen it, but If Google Was a Guy series, there was a chick and she's like, hey Siri, show me pictures of spaghetti. And Siri goes to Google, show me pictures of the Serengeti. And between Google saying that's not what she asked for and Siri going, show me pictures of the Serengeti, just that interaction is what I feel like we are at the moment.
I am agreeing with you. We're still at that phase where it's not too bad. It's manageable, but it does happen more than we would like at this point.
It's more, to me, of an annoyance trying to, say your hands free or something and you're driving and you're like, oh, hey Google, fucking KFC's in fucking Melbourne City. And then it's like, I didn't quite catch that. So you say it 4 or 5 times, still doesn't fucking work. So you get so frustrated, you just pick the cunt up and you're like, KFC in Melbourne City.
And then you crash.
Yeah, it's all well, the ideas of all this artificial intelligence, the idea of it is fantastic. The implementation of it
is still to be desired.
Exactly right.
It's still leaving a lot to be desired.
It still reminds me of that little fucking back in the day when you used to go to like the Royal Show or carnivals if you're not in Australia, but like the Royal Brisbane Show or like the out in Gracemere, Aden, they had that little the show out there back when we were younger.
Oh yeah,
but like the little carnival sort of thing, and
that was always held at the primary school.
Yeah,
but
you get people like that have that stalls, and it was all Chinese shit, but it had that little cat, and its arm would just move, or the little dog, and then woof woof woof, and then do a backflip. Like that is, in my mind, is still what I represent as AI as right now today. Is it? It hasn't. For me, hasn't gone leaps and bounds.
So there is
in the last, I dare say 10 years, if not more, because we're 20 something now. We're all about the same, 27 or something.
20.
So you go back at least nearly 2 decades. Technology has come afar. I'll give it that, but
it's not.
In my mind, it hasn't come
to what you would have thought by now.
Yeah, well, nearly in 2 decades. You look at the previous 2 decades, and then you look at, say from when we were 10 years old until we were 20 years old. The technological advancements we made then, from cell phones to VCR players to DVD, CD players to streaming to smartphones in that 10 years. And let's skip to the next 7 years. What have they done in the last 7 years that they haven't done in the last 10? It's sort of like it's stagnated a bit.
Yeah, actually, now that I put my mind to it. I guess in a way, there's something that we've got to remember is that working with this type of technology, this AI, this is not something that you can just tinker with willy-nilly to improve it. This is something they need to put lots and lots of money, research, dedication, development. This is not something that's going to take this is going to take more than a century for them to perfect. It's going to take probably more than 3 centuries. We're going to be long gone by the time this thing's perfect.
Well, that's if the Earth's still around by that time.
Keep your morbid shit over there. But considering where AI was let's go with when we were born. We know of some examples from the early 90s of what AI was. It was very bare minimal, but it existed. It was nowhere near as accessible or usable as it is nowadays. Like, you couldn't pick up your home phone in the 90s and say the name of someone you wanted to ring, and it would ring it for you. You had to manually dial in the number. Nowadays, you just pick up your phone and go, "Hey, Bixby." It answers you and you go, "Ring Jordan." And next thing you know, I'm on the phone to Jordan. I don't do that because I just, find his name in the contacts and go, "Okay, hi."
Yeah.
But if I wanted to, I could do that. Whereas 30 years ago, this was a pipe dream.
Well, even then, when you sort of see the old films or movies where people were in like call centers or whatever and manually like adjusting fucking like AUX ports and shit, that was an actual thing. People actually used to do that as a job. You'd call them and say, "Connect me to fucking such and such line," and they would.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow.
And then the other thing we got to keep in mind is that we've been neglecting general AI that's used in computers. Not like websites or any of this stuff. We're talking about actual, just full-on computers that we use at home. The AI that is behind that is there, and that's also come leaps and bounds ahead of where it was about 10, 20 years ago. I mean, looking at it now, I'm trying to remember Windows XP. It didn't have a little search bar here that I've got my mouse on right now. Jordan can see it, right?
Windows XP, down the bottom left-hand side, it did have a search bar.
But it didn't take you to Google.
Oh,
This can take you to Google.
Yeah, I know, but that search bar, you have
Yeah.
like apps or games or whatever installed.
Yeah. And it also, if you type in one word, it will search every single thing in your computer, as well as external hard drives. Whereas Windows XP, it wouldn't be able to do that in any amount of the time it takes for it to do it now.
Oh, no.
So that's already just a simple one. It's not much when you say it out loud. But again, these are things that do not take short bursts of time to improve.
Well, actually, just thinking about it, we'll go back to the chatbots, right?
Ooh, chatbots, here we go.
Chatbots. It's like a chatbot. Domino's Pizza Checker.
Oh, fuck off.
Domino's fucking Pizza Checker. You know what fucking grinds my gears about that?
Okay, Peter.
Domino's spent so much fucking money implementing the Domino's Pizza Checker, the artificial intelligent fucking robot that takes a photo of your pizza when it's done.
And it grades it.
Well, there you go. And it fucking grades it. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars on that shit because it's not just here, it's around the world.
I know.
When they could have spent half that money and just put a little bit more topping on the pizza, just like everyone asked for. Because that's what their main gripe was with Domino's, was not putting enough fucking toppings on the pizza. So they implemented, I think from memory, it was like $135 million. They spent that on a little artificial robot to say, "Oh, your pizza's good." But what happens when the pizza's not good?
So
Does it say this pizza's not good, so you have to remake it?
So I'll get into that because I don't think I've ever said it on the podcast. I do work at Domino's. I can tell you now what that is.
Well, fucking tell me.
So what it is, it's called the Dom Checker. It's called the Dom, right? Haha, the Dom.
Yeah, condom.
Yeah. So it's a thing that sits above the cut bench, right? That's pointed down exactly where they cut it, and it actually gives us a grade out of 100% on how good it looks compared to what is the perfect looking version of that particular pizza.
Yeah.
Right? It has a database that it pulls from what they've made in head office.
Yeah.
So I think as soon as it hits 70%, right? And it grades things like how good the dough looks, how much sauce there is, how much toppings there is. Yes, your toppings thing that you just brought up is a thing that is graded.
Good, because it was... I still remember Undercover Boss, and he was in Domino's in America, and everyone's biggest gripe
was there wasn't enough toppings.
Not enough toppings on your pizza.
So this thing actually does give you grades, right? As soon as it's 70%, it actually says to remake the entire thing. Not fix it, not add to it, just remake the whole thing.
What do you do with the one that's under 70%?
So this is the part that's going to make people in Africa and anywhere that can't eat.
You got to throw it out.
We have to throw it out. You waste everything that is on that pizza. Everything, including the dough and the box that you put it on, and you throw it all out. The only other things that we do with it is we keep it and give it to a staff member that's leaving for the day.
Yeah.
Catch. Depending on the manager that's on, you will have to pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
Or, the manager's real good, he just goes, here you go, have some lunch. You've earned it.
Yeah.
And it also does keep track of what size it is. So, you got the minis. It also keeps track of the types of dough pans. It does pick up if it's a classic, a thin, a deep, even gluten-free. It can tell if it's a gluten-free. The only things it has trouble with is when something new is added. For obvious reasons. It's brand new. There's not a lot of data to pull from it. Can't grade it as well. It takes about 3 or 4 days after a new item is added to the menu for it to be able to properly be graded. And they'll tell you, they've told us at an office, no, it doesn't take that long. I work there, you dumb cunts. Seriously, I've seen it.
But that's what I'm saying.
They've spent all this money.
When you look at fucking... I'm still using Domino's. I'm not trying to knock Domino's. It's still... one of my favourite pizza places. But when you... on the app and you see this photo come through of your pizza and you go...
That's shit.
Mate, I could have shit on a fucking dough ball and smeared it across the walls. It would still look better than that. And you're going to pass that?
You'll be surprised.
Fuck.
So, here's the thing. I didn't mention this part. It does keep track of if you have to remake it. It says at the end of the day, it actually tells you how many times it's told the cutter to go get it remade. The cutter's supposed to let the make line know that it has to be remade. Exactly what it is, right? Doesn't mean that they do it. If it's the middle of peak, fucking good luck getting your pizza remade in the middle of peak. I have seen that make line at 6:30 at night. And if I heard anyone say remake for this, it's only because of one thing. It was... Bixby! Would you fuck off? It's only because of one thing. It was not the right fucking pizza made. Like, you could order... Best example, you could just order a Simply Cheese, right? They've put through a fucking pepperoni. But you understand what I mean. Doesn't matter if it is, right? What it is.
Yeah.
Premium, traditional. Yeah. If you get the wrong thing made and it's not in any orders coming up, it goes, oh, so it's meant for this, is it? Okay, remake that. That's the only time they'll do it. Like, you could get a pizza that's got fucking bee's dick size amount of sauce and it will go, you need to remake it, and everyone else will go, no, it's busy. That'll do. It still comes down to the human thing. So this whole technology they've developed still relies on human decision making. That's what the gripe is. And I understand where you're coming from with it. But to clarify, if you ever see a shit photo of your pizza and that's what you get, you can't blame the technology then. That is 100% the human's fault.
With that being said, they're not following protocol then, are they? Because if it says
No.
to remake it, then you fucking
No,
remake
they're not.
it.
No.
You remake it to that fucking robot's specification. Like,
I'm aware.
and like, just imagine that pizza box had some sort of tracker on it, right?
Yep.
If you didn't remake that and it went out the door, the door wouldn't open or something, so the pizza boy couldn't go deliver it.
John, what you're talking about right now is going to cost more than what the fucking tracker, than what the DOM checker is going to cost.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to implement X amount of millions of dollars on this fucking checker...
Go all the way and make sure that it's followed.
Exactly right.
So...
If you're going to still rely on a human's fucking eye, do that from the fucking get-go and not rely on a fucking software to go, yeah, no, that's pizza shit, but we're still going to send it out.
I don't have anything to add to that. Aden, do you want to chime in with this one?
Look, man, I don't order pizza all that much because Paige doesn't really like pizza. She likes the garlic bread. But
You're a fat cunt, you should know.
I love pizza. I'm obsessed with it. But look, I don't really have too much on it. I just find it funny that half the time, like, well, not half actually. So I'll take, you'll see the photo they've taken of the peach, and you'll think, that looks like absolute shit. But then you get it and you think, that doesn't look like it does on the photo. It looks pretty good. Like, a photo doesn't really represent what the pizza looks like, because it could look good on the photo and then you get it and it looks like shit.
So there is another aspect to this thing I may have forgotten to mention.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Fucking Late to the Party.
No. It's just about the machine in general. It just
3G internet or something.
It has a very bright light on it that that is used to capture everything. It's extremely bright.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it.
So that's probably what contributes to making it look like shit. That's just to emphasize what Aden said. Carry on, Aden.
Oh, look, man, that's pretty much my bit there. But one thing I did want to sort of mention, this is going away from the pizza side of things. Ironically, Australia is not even anywhere near the top 10 in AI use in the world. Like, we're behind some pretty... we're behind Israel in AI usage. I think that's pretty interesting.
It is, actually, when you put your mind to it. How many countries... Do you know the amount of countries that are actually ahead of us in AI usage? Does it say?
I have to try and find this bloody website again.
Yeah, I think I did hear or read something about that. We are pretty far. We're like 17th or something in the world.
17th. That's not too bad considering how many countries there are.
Look,
yeah, but you got to think, we're a first world country.
Yeah.
With that being said, I work with a lot of older fellas, I'm like the second youngest of my crew, and even then, like, they will not blow up, but go off their head if, this shop won't accept cash or whatever. In very old school ways, old school traditions and shit. So, if you would put that into perspective, that's only like my crew, and we're a small fucking drop in the ocean. You go outside of the capital cities, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra, maybe even Perth. I've never been there, but you go over to Perth, maybe it's not as technologically advanced as what we think. Go up to Darwin, like a lot of, I guess, a lot of the technological advancements you see, or the Teslas on autopilot and shit, you only realistically see them in like
CBDs.
But in the southern of the country, Melbourne, Sydney, Canberra.
Well, I think
you never. You see it in Brisbane sometimes. There's occasional Teslas you see up here. But you'd be fucked trying to drive a Tesla from Brisbane to Rocky.
I'm going to refer to something you've once said to me. Going from Brisbane to Rockhampton's like going 10 years into the past.
Yeah, it is. It is like going back in time.
So when you go, I reckon you got to apply that to all of Australia.
Well, that's sort of the point I'm trying to make, is you got the bottom half of the country that are the more tech savvy and more technologically advanced. And then I've never been to WA, so I don't know. But you look at, that whole sort of, say if you got a map of Australia and you drew a line from Perth to Brisbane and move that to the top of the country, I dare say that whole population won't be as technologically
savvy,
literate,
yeah,
as that bottom section.
Yeah, I think that's just a testament to Australia's people, though. There's a lot of Australian citizens that refuse to get with the times. They will never own a mobile phone. They won't own a computer, and if they do, it's like your mum's. It's a little shit box that sits in the corner, and they use it to play solitaire.
Yeah, well, it doesn't even fucking do that anymore. She plays it on her tablet.
Oh, look at that! Your mum's getting more tech savvy.
Yeah, but
But you understand where I'm coming from.
yeah. No, I do get that
Because that's I can tell you now, that's my grandfather right now. The only thing he uses his computer for is to play solitaire.
Okay.
And I believe, I cannot quote this, the reason I heard he did that was because his deck of cards that he used to play solitaire manually with are so old and worn they don't feel good to play with. So he's went to the keyboard and mouse. I'm not kidding, but at the same time I'm not sure if that's what happened. It does sound like my granddad though. Dough. Fucking pizza's still on the mind. But yeah, I mean, what do you think, Aden, about Australia with that little analogy Jordan just gave us?
Well, I'm just looking at which cities in Australia are the most technologically advanced, and Melbourne's first by a long shot.
Oh God.
Like Melbourne's actually, I think, where is it? Melbourne is in the top 10 in the world for technologically advanced. Sydney is 35th.
Fucking, that's a difference.
Brisbane is literally 50th.
Actually, that's not too bad. That's actually
Pretty good in the world, but then it's I can't, that's just the top 50, and then it's apparently Canberra's like 162nd.
Oh, that's concerning.
Adelaide's not ranked in the top 200. Neither's Perth or Darwin.
I actually would believe that one. When you look at
I
the,
wonder if they still get fucking paid by check to cash or.
they probably do in places up there, eh? Out there, sorry. As for those rankings, realistically, that's not too bad. When you think of capital cities all around the world, Melbourne being 10th, that's pretty good for us. And then literally in intervals of 15, you got Sydney, then you got Brisbane. I think 3 of our cities being in the top 50, I think that's good enough for Australia.
Yeah, but, you know, Aden's sort of probably, I guess, gone to, you know, Scotland, Ireland, and that, but when you think of, like, overseas travel and technologies that other countries have, what's the first country that comes to your mind?
Tokyo.
Country.
Oh, Japan.
For what?
For technological advancement.
Yeah,
Japan's actually lower than Australia.
Oh, wow. I was not expecting
Yeah.
that.
However, Tokyo is second in the world, but
Yeah.
Japan as a whole is lower than Australia.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of, like, old school farms in Japan, so.
And villages and all
stuff,
that.
yeah.
As since I've been over there, I can tell you, Tokyo is a fucking mind blower, eh?
Where's Singapore as a country, Aden?
Singapore is 5th.
In the world.
Yes.
When I think of technology and technological advances, I think of Singapore.
Makes sense.
Don't ask me why or how. I just Singapore just they don't have that quirky anime ooh woo type of fucking shit that Japan does.
Aiden is like laughing his
He
ass
loses
off.
his shit.
There, you hear him very brief. Like he's cutting in and out, but he's laughing.
Like, you know, it's like, yeah, Singapore doesn't have that ooh woo type of fucking shit.
You stop saying ooh woo. Just fucking stop. When
But
you say it,
I-
I feel myself cringe.
But, you know, when you think of, for me, like household technological advancements, you know, heating and cooling in the same room, or, you know, fucking dual zone climate control in a car or something, you know, shit like that, I think of Singapore. Because it's more practical, it's not that fucking, yeah. Don't ask me why or how, but just whenever I think of that sort of shit, I think Singapore.
Wow.
Guess who number one as a city is in the world?
Oh shit!
Give us the continent.
Oh,
I
okay.
think-
Well, it's America. It's in America.
I don't know why I thought Vegas. I don't think it's Vegas.
New York.
Jordan's on the money. It's New York.
Makes sense. New York's
Fucking hell, America's a third world country with a Gucci belt.
I can hear the semi-automatic rifles being loaded right now. Not in the shootings thing. I mean, just to kill us for your comments.
This is my right. My right to bear arms and fuck my sister.
Just saying though, back on the topic of gun laws and stuff. When they say that they use it for safety, how the fuck is an assault rifle used for safety? I understand maybe a pistol, but an assault rifle?
Because what if you...
Because their safety is they're scared of kids growing up, so they use them to mow down.
Stop! 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 No! No! No!
You know, we have things like that in Australia. It's called a shooting range. In America, it's called a school.
Hang on. On the topic of that, let's look up who's leading school shootings in the world.
No, let's not! Let's not. We don't need to see America on the top of any list at the moment.
We just have, but I mean, we can see them again.
We don't need to see another one.
Just saying, if school shooting was in the Olympics, America would get the gold every time.
You know, Australia had a mass shooting, I think it was 1996. Australian government went, right, no more guns. The Sandy Hook massacre happened. And, you know, a lot of little kids lost their lives. America went, not the big guns.
Fellas, we literally just had a school shooting over there in the last 2 weeks. I think that's a little bit too sensitive of a topic for you to be making light of.
Well, if you're gonna fucking say that, how many mass shootings in America in 2022 is the fucking top? The US has had 214 mass shootings so far in 2022.
In 2022 alone,
We're in fucking May. There's been
Wait, what have you got? What number?
214, 214.
I've got some other updated one. It says 288.
This was 2 days ago by Insider.com.
oh no, don't trust Insider. Insider, kind of like our Perth, they're really behind.
This is worldpopulationreview.com.
They're pretty good with keeping up to date.
And first is United States with 288. Ironically, the United States neighbour Mexico is second. Can you guess how many they've had?
Go on.
8.
I think I know what we're talking about next week.
How fucked up America is? Or?
I mean, in a way, yes. Oh, from a topic about AI, we really strayed off the path there, didn't we?
Just saying though, let's just put this into perspective, right? So mass shootings in America, 288. In Afghanistan, 3 mass shooting. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. I've got... Yeah, no, I'm fucking still processing that number. That can't be real.
I'm on the website now.
288. That cannot be fucking true. That's more than the amount of days we've had this year already.
Is it?
Do you know how many mass shootings Australia's had since 1996?
0.
None.
Yeah, I know. We have good gun laws.
But, what was it? I think it was Mum actually said to me yesterday. Hey, Jordan, how old are you going to be to buy cigarettes and alcohol in America?
21.
So
I'm pretty
21. I said most states. I think it was like 48 states out of fucking 50 is 21. She goes, you can only be 18 when you buy a fucking weapon in America, like a gun.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, how fucked is that? You can't vote, you can't drink, you can't smoke.
But
yeah.
you can shoot guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about this next week.
Let's just say that. Let's just put this into perspective, right? So, America gives someone a gun. They go, let's shoot up a school. At least in Australia, we give some crackhead a fucking needle, and he goes, well, I'm going to shoot up in a school. I think I'd take the shooting up in a school than shooting in a school.
I like that. But as Australians, we're built different. We see someone that shot a girl. This happened. Old mate shot a Sheila, ran down stabbed her. I think he stabbed her. Ran down the alleyway and fucking ran. And police were fucking called. And he got put under citizen's arrest. He got stopped by a fucking milk crate.
Oh, yeah!
That guy.
Well, we're creative when it comes to getting violent with ourselves, aren't we?
Yes, Adrian, yes we are.
We're very creative.
Cheeky pokey bumwank. But yeah, we're just Australians. We're built different.
Let's veer back into the actual topic and wrap it up. AI.
AI. Or, I was going to say VR. Virtual reality. There's another topic to touch on. VR. Instead of Americans going out and buying assault rifles and killing people, why don't they just do it in VR? Save a lot less children. No, like I'm being nearly dead serious.
I know you're being dead serious, but I cannot actually. Like, I'm still processing that big number, for instance. I'm still fucking way back. I'm trying to wrap it up, and then... No, I'm stuck.
You're like Internet Explorer.
Yeah, I've crashed. No. Aiden, what do you think of that idea from Jordan? I mean, it's not an idea. It's something that can actually fucking do.
Look... Okay, I'm going to go a bit off topic again, and then you guys can bring me. I don't care. But one thing that pisses me off is when people blame mental health for school shootings. Look, they are not right mentally, but come on, like that's bullshit to get. A lot of them get off because of quote unquote mental health issues. That is fucking bullshit, and that's where I'm going to end that. You guys can take over and fucking say what you want about the gun laws and shit. That's done for me. Let's get back on topic, but if you guys have something to chime in on, you can.
I think we need to reel back to the to what you said. So with the VR thing, they have that option. Obviously, they don't use it.
Well, we look at artificial intelligence and virtual reality. We could use both of them simultaneously, hand in hand, full good, probably sometimes evil as well. But the way the world is going nowadays, like if I was just to say, if you asked me this morning, Jordan, where do you think the world's heading? I'd say the world's fucked. Because I don't think we have the leaders of the world we have today aren't leaders, in my opinion. Not a single fucking prime minister or president or leader of a country. At this point in time, right now, as I'm sitting here at 10 to 9 in the morning, I don't think that we have a good leader in this world. Now, with that being said, going back to VR, we could put some of these leaders into real world scenarios to see how they would handle it. You know, it went a fucking long way in motorsports. You guys, you know, whatever, with cars and shit, you don't know too much about it. But when we couldn't drive in 2020, when there was no V8 supercars or supercars championship here in Australia, everyone used sim racing. And a lot of kids that would never have gotten a chance in a real vehicle jumped in a simulator, racing against some of the best drivers in the world, and they managed to fucking beat them, if not come very fucking close. So, as a positive, the VR and the AI in that aspect, the fucking leaps and bounds. Look at pilots. On a positive note, how many hours they got to do on a flight simulator before they can actually fly? I think it's like 100 hours.
It's similar to learner drivers.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm pretty sure they have to do more than 100.
No, fucking.
Pretty sure they have to do way more.
I don't fucking know. I just thought it sounded good in my head.
It did.
But yes,
yeah.
you know, look at all the positives I guess they've brought to light. You know, I wonder if maybe in the future to go from your red peas to your green peas in the future, instead of having to sit there behind a computer screen and click your fucking to do that test, they put you in a car simulator and see how your reaction times are.
That would make a lot more sense to do.
And you know, see whether you pass or fail in a pardon me, real world scenario
compared to
sitting in front of a computer and clicking a button.
Yeah, still images can't do justice. Watching a video of something can't do justice. Experiencing it and seeing your reaction to it would be a much better way to go about it.
Yeah, well, that's right. You know, there's always a good purpose for it.
Oh, yeah. 100%. I've always been behind the development of VR in particular, because VR just... There's obviously scenarios of it being used and it's like, why did you make it for this or whatnot? But there's other ones where it's like, that can advance things. That can help. That's a good example. Fucking good on you, going from shootings to actual progression in AI.
Yeah, you always got to look on the brighter side of life.
Okay, Brian.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think we'll end it on that higher note, actually, because
Aden, you got anything?
Nah.
nah. Are you still researching all the shooting shit? Are you?
I'm done with that. But I do. I actually, if we're going to end it now, I would like to say that, you know, while we have a bit of a joke about, you know, the differences in school shootings, it is a tragedy what's been happening in the United States. And look, I don't care how on your high horse you are about your fucking amendments. There has to be something done. There has to be something done. And you look at everybody that's coming out of the woodwork talking about this. Yet the Golden State Warriors coach say, I don't want to talk about basketball. We need to talk about this. Like, there's so
was that
many.
Who he was?
Yeah, there's so many big figures around the world coming out talking about this that something needs to change. I look. In all seriousness, I don't care how up on your high horse you are about your bloody amendments or your fucking rights. At the end of the day, innocent children, like nobody deserves to die, but these are children losing their young lives. They've got so much ahead of them, or they had so much ahead of them. They're just, it's heartbreaking, and it just, look, as an Aussie, I get, you know, you've got your rights, but come on, look at how we've had no mass shootings since 1996. That's huge. You guys have had 288 in one fucking year. That's where I'm going to end it. Something needs to change, and you guys can talk about what you need to at the end. I just thought we needed to get that out there.
Yeah, I was going to bring it
Which
up.
I do agree with you 100%. with everything that you just said there. You know, I nearly said, thoughts and prayers go out to the families, which, yes, they do, but how often do we need to say fucking thoughts and prayers? How fucking often do we need to say that? Because to me, it's just this vicious cycle of mass shooting happens, oh no, we feel for the families, thoughts and prayers, nothing gets fucking done, and it happens all over again.
And I think the worst part of it all is literally the day it happens and the the media's over there cover it, they immediately start going into fuck you mode. They don't do anything for the families. They're immediately straight into fuck you, the media over there. It's like, dude, it hasn't even been a day. Let them fucking grieve.
Yeah.
Let them fucking mourn. Fucking give them more than a day. Give them a week before you start sitting there going, fuck you, Mr. Senator or whatever. Like, obviously, like you said, something needs to be done. Yes, it needs to happen sooner rather than later. But my thing with it is, obviously, thoughts and prayers. Again, shouldn't need to be doing this so fucking often. Fix yourselves, America. But also, the American outlets, fucking chill, dude. Stop with your bullshit and stop sitting there blaming governments when there are people that are in the middle of still processing the fact they just lost either a loved one who was a teacher there, like you've read about the most recent one, the teacher who died, and then his part, and then her partner.
Don't get too far into it because we'll cover that.
We'll cover it next episode. And they're still, and the kids fucking died. Let people grieve before you start getting into the whole fucking political side of it. That's me. I fucking hate it when they do that. Leave politics out of it for a while. And with that, onto the AI side of things, we'll go back, we'll reel it in here. Aside from the tangent, that was a big one. We can admit AI has come far. There are things about it that obviously all three of us are for, and there are things about it that, despite two of us said we're 100% for, and one of us said 100% against. Once you've got it in context, we're kind of all in the same boat.
Yeah.
There's no argument about that. But we're more interested, now that we've got our opinion out there, what do you think? You can save your comments on guns for the next episode, because we've basically just told you what we're doing next week.
Yeah.
But what do you think about AI? Do you think it's come leaps and bounds? Do you think it hasn't come far enough? Do you think that it's pretty good for where it is now, or do you think it needs to improve drastically to be at the point where you're like, yes, I'm happy with it? And what do you want to see come out of it in the future? Let us know. You can always find us on the Opinionated Aussies Instagram page. I want to thank both of you for coming on today. It's always good to have you both here. Aden especially, thanks for getting back with us for this one.
All good.
Will you be with us for the next week's episode?
Yeah, I'll be here. It'll be all good.
Sweet. Jordan, as always.
Fuck you, Adrian.
You giant wanker. I know. Other than that, as usual, you can find all our social media links down in the description below, wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast. And I think we'll leave it at that.
Thanks for coming, Aden. Appreciate your time, mate.
Right, all good.
Have a good one there, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Have a blessed day.